10:21 a.m. and just for purposes of being thorough documentation, this is the light source that is indeed remaining over me. I'm looking outside my leasing office window, which is facing the hillside, a general reference to what is the east side of my person. And at this same property, after 5 p.m., the fake sun is still at this property and it's on the right of my person, which is a general reference to the west, while it's still at the same exact address, which is capturing the condition of all those who are group stalking by living at Alvarado Gardens, and they're going to federal prison for that, the people of the state. And the state, you're also documenting and prosecuting the state that is engaging in what is the state's pattern of conduct that is, again, occurring on the watch of this terrorist, the domestic terrorist, the domestic enemy that is Dominic Choi and the Los Angeles Police Department, who are acting in conformity to the state's pattern of conduct, engaging in terrorism, which is group stalking. It's demonic activity, and it's occurring in that demonic environment. And so the reason why I wanted to start this video is because I'm going to give you additional context regarding what I just captured. This is Brian Suh, you Kim, who are specifically acting as a part of the entity coming and giving me your rent check while the entity flies over by helicopter under the fake sun, creating light activity, engaging in the elements of monitoring. And this is while I am at work. And this is occurring on the watch of speaker companies, which represent a third-party company. That's why the co-workers that I have are not actual co-workers. They're third-party, demon-possessed group stalkers. And they are not coincidentally engaging in the same pattern of conduct that Brian Suh is engaging in. So this is, in other words, speaker companies is going to be prosecuted for what LAPD, for what the people of the state driving onto the property, everybody living around me at while I'm in relevant position, while I'm in the workplace, this entire entity that is group stalking, speaker companies' pockets is going to be drained for facilitating and enabling federal group stalking and monitoring in the workplace. All right, it's not limited to the demonic activity of those that are getting a paycheck from speaker companies. So I want to show you what Brian Suh is engaging in, and this is the same terrorist that I'm documenting at the same property where the light source is over me at 10:11 in the morning. Let's be clear about my location. At 10 o'clock in the morning, I am, show you the property map, right here at the management office. Let me zoom in so you can see this is my location at 10 o'clock. The fake sun is over me, and I'm documenting the terrorism and sexual violence by the same third party who's acting in sync with the LAPD as well. That's impunity, monitoring me while I'm inside of the terrorizing and group stalking and harassing me in the workplace while I am in the workplace, and I am documenting him engaging in the same pattern of conduct, which is the sexually violent aspect, keeping me under surveillance, facilitating LAPD's criminal system. LAPD, remember, represents the state, and while I'm inside of my apartment, and building 1806 is where my apartment is located on the 3rd floor, and there is no iteration of the natural environment where the sun is at 10 o'clock in the morning and still in alignment with me after 6 p.m. You can see the fake sun through the windshield of Brian Suh's vehicle. And again, Brian Suh's address is 1804 North Alvarado Street, apartment number 4. He is going to federal prison. And as I reference, and as you see his impunity demonstrated through the pattern of conduct that I'm subject to, I'm going to recall the evidence. This is relevant for what is for purposes of enhancement to federal charges and sentencing, because this impunity and malice is exhibited by the entirety of that population. That's why to date in 2024, I'm still documenting it. And terrorism is going to be directly addressed under federal law and at federal prosecution. And you're talking about what is necessary regarding prosecution for group stalking by the state is deterrence. And it is also speaking to what is punishment. Those are twin goals that the federal government is also necessarily addressing when you're prosecuting the terrorists that are literally the state government and the people of the state who are maliciously acting in sync with that government. And then you're understanding what is illusion with regard to any separation between the demon flying the helicopter, the demon driving the police vehicle, the demons that are stalking, living all around under the guise of masquerading as though they are lawful citizens, living and exercising freedom of rights, and they're not. It's criminal conduct, it's group stalking. So this is the pattern of conduct that I documented, 10:11 a.m. Captured. That was an ambush by the people of the state and the state. This is upon coming back to my office. So 10:01
P.O.C. Stalking in the laundry room, crossing path while the fake sun is over me. And that's the people of the state group stalking in the laundry room in the specific environment, and the entity is engaged in repeatedly pacing around in helicopter. And this is the terrorist organization in Los Angeles, LAPD, using helicopters to engage in surveillance with the people that are crossing path. And this is a demon's method of exhibiting hostility, not looking at you, not addressing you, and then the demons in the helicopter are acting as one.
And so what I mean by that, this is addressing the psychological torture that the speaker companies is going to compensate me for. This has not been addressed before under federal law. You're going to drain the pockets for the psychological torment and torture, the distress that is reasonably foreseeable, where the government is group stalking you, terrorizing you, harassing you as an entity in sync with the people in the workplace. And so this is relevant to what is group stalking with the state, and then just walking by like nothing's happening. That's the entity that is group stalking. That's the characterization of what group stalking looks like, and that's the people, the state's role in sync with the people. And I have gone beneath the superficial veil, which is speaking to a very demented mind state, a deranged mind state that both wants to deceive and also wants to specifically target. It's also a strategy to torture you in the mind, which demons intend to do. They despise the demonic spirits on them, hate you. Okay, so this is Satan acting over a people and engaging in what is very psychotic methods of stalking together. And while they're doing so in the natural, you're going to prosecute in the natural, because you can look to the left and right all you want. I'm going to make sure that you're subject to mental examinations, and you will keep it up, you're going to be sitting in a mental facility. So this is the entity that's engaging in group stalking and doing so in sync with LAPD, specific environment, and it's also legally relevant, where I document the people of the state by name, company name, etc. That same demon, representing even a company name, will continuously and will repeat. That's the one that will come back and engage in it again, which is a documented criminal act of retaliation. The government that's retaliating against you is threatening your life. Meaning, third-party group stalker driving a vehicle with a logo on it, Center for Better Life, engaging in documented acts of retaliation, repeatedly acting and demonstrating impunity. That's the government. And you're going to prosecute the government that's acting vicariously. You're going to prosecute the government that's acting directly. And it is relevant to how terrorists such as Dominic Choi will be treated at federal prosecution. So this is the light source that's over me at the property. I'm facing my apartment building. This is the direction of my apartment building. And you're also seeing where there is no sun that's outside of my living room window. It's right over my head. Which is not over my outside of my living room window while I'm standing here at my leasing office. All right. Standing not in a position outside of my living room window. There's no sun that's going to be outside of my living room window, like I've already shown on an ongoing basis. You already know that this isn't the sun. It's in Ontario, California. So this is not rocket science. I'm speaking to and pointing out what you also know, the mindset of the demons who are group stalking with the state in helicopter. And while they're engaging in all of their pattern of conduct, I am pointing out the fact that it is relevant to the ways in which they're going to be charged and sentenced at prosecution. And it is necessary with regard to deportation that you serve your time in a cage before you're deported permanently. All right. So they need to actually be punished. And part of that punishment will include deportation after you serve your time. So the entity is maintaining this environment. And you, Kim, this is a entity. Let me go ahead and just play the video so you can see. I want you to pay attention to where the light source is, because at the same apartment building, hold on, this is, hold on, the direction, this apartment building right here, building 1808, building 1806, and building 1804. This is the apartment building that I am inside of, just to be clear, because the fake sun remains. This is the location where I'm standing outside of my office, and I'm facing building 1808. And this is the location of the light source that's over my head while I'm standing here facing this apartment building. That's what you're looking at on the camera. And facing building 1808, my building is 1806, in between building 1808 and building 1804. And while I'm inside of this apartment building that I'm standing outside of facing at 10 in the morning, the fake sun is still outside of my bedroom window. And the video that I'm going to capture where Brian is engaging in terrorism, doing so on more than one occasion, is documentation of impunity. Doing so after the entity has already been documented engaging in group stalking one time is impunity. You're going to prosecute the entity for what the entity is doing as one. And then at federal prosecution, when it's individualized going under your name, you will be prosecuted as the malicious ongoing terrorist that never ceased to engage in that criminal system. It's going under your name. This is why you do not want to engage in terrorism with the state. You will answer for all that you engaged in the shoes of the state. There's no distinction between the demon in Rancho Cucamonga and this demon in building 1804, apartment number 4. So this is the light source that's over me at this morning.
P.O.C. Stalking in the laundry room, crossing path while the fake sun.
And that's you, Kim, group stalking in the laundry room, apartment number 1808, number 2. And this is after I specifically pointed him out, documented him. The demons engage in a pattern to their own demise. Okay? to their own demise, we're just going to do it again, even though you're going to federal prison. You're fully exposed. There's nothing mysterious or questionable about what everyone is going to know you're doing as well. And then you're also going to answer for it. And I'm still going to make that decision, and I'm going to do it again. And there is no language barrier. The demon that is on you, Kim, knows exactly what I'm saying. That's why it's not stopping him while he speaks a foreign language to engage in the demonic behavior pattern of stalking with audible activity, acting in sync with the same demons that are LAPD. All right, they're not mindless, numb dummies that are just walking around and coincidentally acting in sync with the demons in helicopter. And the pattern of conduct, the evidence has shown an ongoing consistent pattern by the population and the state. Okay, and that's exactly what's going on here.
Over me, and that's the people of the state group stalking in a laundry room. In the specific environment, and the entity is engaged in repeatedly pacing around in helicopter. And this is the terrorist organization in Los Angeles, LAPD, using helicopters to engage in surveillance with the people that are crossing paths. And this is a demon's method of exhibiting hostility, not looking at you, not addressing you. And then the demons in the helicopter are acting as one. Okay, that's a terrorist who's going to be deported, him and his wife. Okay, and you know that from the unnatural environment and the fact that I just specifically honed in on him, documenting him. The demons engage in this pattern together, and it is to the detriment of the entity, including Dominic Choi. This terrorism is occurring on his watch with real-time knowledge, and it is not under any circumstances protecting anybody that lives at Alvarado Gardens, nor you, Kim, who's going to federal prison, and then he's going to be deported out of this country. He's stalking in the laundry room while the entity is flying over. That's called criminal presence. That's a demon that wants to be in direct alignment with me in the laundry room while I'm a property manager at the property, and the fake sun is remaining over me. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. This is the light source that's direct, sorry, hold on. And so let me show you, it's 10:02 a.m. Light source remains for the duration of the day. As I'm showing you through the windshield of Kim's vehicle, license 8NUS 341, he is engaging in what is un-American conduct in this country, granted a privilege to do so, a recipient of Section 8, by the way, federal housing benefits, while in violation of federal law with the government. He's going to be deported after he's prosecuted. And that is the entity that engages in acts of retaliation. This is crossing the path. P.O.C. This is another one that's going to be deported. That's the light source through the windshield. This is monitoring in the workplace. 10:03 a.m. And it is...
So that is indeed Brian Suh, and the entity amplifies helicopter activity while he's crossing past. So the reason why I point out the light source location, because it's not over any Ovid Family Community Library in Ontario. So it's very precise with regard to my ability to show you the light source that's clearly over my head. And in case anybody else wants to raise some other unintelligent and unreasonable contentions about what the evidence is clearly showing, which is a scientific impossibility, I have, through the P.O.C., documented for the world to witness that scientific impossibility in a way that everyone can witness what is impossible to naturally occur, yet it's happening. And so I've documented it. And this is also where criminal conduct and harassment by an entity is occurring, and it's everywhere that I go. It is the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. You see the light source through the rear windshield of this vehicle, and while I'm at the leasing office location, again, my management office, and which is adjacent to the apartment building that I go into in the evening, and that same third party you saw cross path right now with a check in his hand while LAPD is group stalking in helicopter. There is nothing other than criminal conduct going on. You can hold whatever you want. You can hold a leaf blower. You can hold a baby. You can drive your car. You can drive a bus. You can fly an airplane. All right. You can hold a paint bucket. You can wear an SCI t-shirt. And you are engaging in nothing other than the criminal conduct, period. This is what demons are relying on, props. Satan goes around with a whole bunch of props, and you're under no circumstances being deceived about what is going on regarding a group of demons who are engaging in monitoring you, and doing so through exceedingly hostile and increasingly aggressive methods such as helicopters, and increasing helicopter activity the more that you expose what they are doing and the ways in which they are doing it and the environment that they're doing it in. Demons, who are psychopaths, it has the affect on their mindset and their decision making as that of a psychopath, as that of, as you would speak to in the secular, a narcissist or a sociopath, somebody that has a blatant disregard for another's rights, for your feelings, for how much you dislike it. A demon does not care. A psychopath does not care and will continue to do so. And then if you have the audacity to enforce your rights or speak counter to what they're doing to you, they will increase it. They will do more of it. This is what is the mindset of Dominic Choi, and he's in custody of weapons. He is overseeing a terrorist operation by a law enforcement agency. So you're using the proper vocabulary. That's not a law enforcement agency. That's a terrorist organization. You're going to call it exactly what it is. And they're also mentally deranged psychopaths who have weaponized vehicles, helicopters, and bearing weapons, and they are literally masquerading on the streets in Los Angeles County as though they're a law enforcement agency, and they're not. They need to be sat down permanently because what Satan is using them to do. All right, so this is...
Let me show you what is... This is the same third party that's group stalking at in the parking lot outside of my bedroom window, while Engineer Light, as he opens and closes his door, coming to my face, while the entity flies over by helicopter federal prison. That's called malice. That's also going to federal prison. Other two is also going to federal prison while the...
That's the light source that you can see through the windshield of the vehicle, so no question about where it's at. And this is Brian Suh. The entity sounds helicopter activity again while he's coming up with a question about his rent. This is the light source where Brian Suh is a deliberate actor, and that deliberate and intention is shown in the unnatural environment that remains for his criminal convenience, okay? Because this demon that is satiating his appetite to torture and torment and target another for no legitimate purpose, because he needs Jesus, in other words, but his need for Jesus has resulted in egregious criminal conduct that he's going to be held accountable for, and then he's going to be deported out of this country. No matter whether he needs retirement, no matter how much he relies on his Section 8, no matter what it is, how he's going to support himself when he's deported back to his place of origin, that is no concern of the federal government when you are a terrorist and you act with absolute disregard for the laws in this country and federal laws to be executed. And like I said, the government, the entity shall learn that you will, under all circumstances, immediately abandon this criminal system when American citizen is aware and documenting. You shouldn't be doing it in the first place, but let alone while documentation has started. That's the impermissible threat. Everybody documenting engaging in an impermissible threat, I just want to be clear, it's grounds of federal prison, period. It's grounds of federal prison immediately. So that's serving for the protection of an American citizen. But I want you to see the malice of a demon that's holding a rent check in their hand, and all they're doing is group stalking like they were on June 9th, 2024, with a fake sun you can see through the windshield of his vehicle.
Population, the
light source is in a position where you can see it through the windshield of the property. He lives at the same property and I'm at the same property, and this is at 6:05 in the evening. And you know that this demon's not doing anything other than group stalking you under a fake sun, and also group stalking you while Engineer Light appears on the ground, while the doors are opening and closing, all manner of impossible light activity. How do you even have sunlight appearing on the shaded asphalt while you're just opening and closing a door, and that which is the sun is seen through your windshield? That's not going to create sunlight. And this is how you know what Brian Suh is. He's a demon. And you also know the malice with which he's monitoring. He's doing so while a sex offense is underway on behalf of the whole state of California, because I'm in my bedroom. And I'll also show you the light activity inside of my bedroom, while at 6 o'clock in the evening, where there would never be a natural environment that consists of the sun being over the same property. This is 10:01 a.m. And the same documented stalking by LAPD, as I captured in the full length video. This is capturing Brian Suh and the light activity, the malice with which he's engaging in terrorism via directed light, as it is legally referred to. It is demonic activity. It's terrorism via directed light in a manner that you saw analogous universal waste, group stalking and terrorizing me with directed light that's appearing on my walls at nightfall. This is what Brian Suh was doing on June 9, 2024. While you see the fake sun through the windshield, that's not the sun that still would be in any location. While I'm showing you at the same property, it's July 1st, same time of year. What's going on in the natural environment on June 9, 2024 is what should be going on in the natural environment. And the natural environment never consists of a sun being at the same property and it's so close that you can see through the windshield of the vehicles that are parked at the property. That's not the natural environment. And this is a demon who acts with impunity with the same terrorist organization. This is all analysis that's going to point right to Dominic Choi, who will answer for the terrorism that's occurring on his watch. And he knows it. While this demon is being specifically named, and the demons of LAPD are continuously stalking, terrorizing, harassing in helicopters, Dominic Choi is going to specifically answer for that. So the entity is engaging in group stalking. This is what Brian Suh was doing, coming to my office, engaging in this ambush terrorism in concert with the state.
Mission against the whole population. The light source is directly over the windshield. That's how you know that this is group stalking, and that's a psychopath that engages in taking such measures while they're targeting you. Another terrorist that's going to be rooted out, taken out of the country. All right. The entity does so. You saw the entity fly over by helicopter while engaging in surveillance sitting in the parking lot, which is, by the way, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 6 in the evening. Engineer light.
The door closure is audible activity. It's relevant to what is pacing. A demon just walking toward his car, digging in the driver's seat, maintaining presence in the path. Somebody coming close to me. They do the same thing when they walk to the dumpster, for example, to cross path. When they walk from their vehicle to the apartment, or when they walk from their apartment to their vehicle. When they drive off of Alvarado Street into the parking lot. When they're driving up and down Alvarado Street. When they're driving onto the property, on or off the property of Silverview Townhomes. All right. When they're flying in relevant position in airplanes. Okay. Those are all methods of crossing path. This demon does so while the fake sun is over the same property, opening and closing doors, audible activity, and light activity creation. As you can see it appearing on the shaded asphalt at this point in the day where there would never even be a sun. This is a demon that's maliciously and intentionally and repeatedly engaging in acts of terrorism with the state. Yes, he's going to federal prison. And while I am subject to this life-threatening terrorism and harassment as a demon-possessed entity is targeting me in the workplace. Yes, you're going to federal prison, and Heather Till's going to federal prison. Remember, these are the people of the state that Heather Till is referencing in the employee warning notice. There is no credible witness, or you're not recording anything. Your quiet enjoyment is not being, this is all malice coming out of the mouths of mentally deranged psychopaths who are group stalking. All right. And so this is fully the pattern of conduct that speaker companies is engaging in while an entity seeks to oppress you, that is silence you, threaten you with employment, termination. That's a threat. And so since you pose that threat, I'm going to prosecute you for it. And it includes federal prison. Okay, so that doesn't make me happy. I'm just analyzing the criminal activity, and this is how you will be treated under federal law, period. That's how you're going to be treated. And this is necessary because I'm revealing we're not subject to terrorism by those that are some enemy that's far off. The enemy is here in the state. The enemy is my own government. And so the federal law, federal prosecution will address it as that life-threatening domestic enemy that it is. Okay, the oaths that they take, the Constitution that we have, it doesn't make any exception with regard to the domestic enemy. Indeed, you will be treated like the enemy that you are. Okay, so like I said, this is the engineer light, and this is Brian Sugg.
Across the ground while they open and close the door. Those are the terrorists.
So let's recall again the location. 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm standing at my management office, and group stalking with LAPD is you, Kim, stalking in the laundry room. This is the laundry room right here. So there, we share a wall. They're group stalking by just standing in relevant position. They're obsessed, demon-possessed group stalkers, and a fake sun remains over me. 10 o'clock. This is no movement east or west. It's also no movement east or west while I'm looking at the fake sun through my bedroom window of the same property. The sun hasn't gone anywhere. It's not the sun. And at 6 o'clock in the evening, you are group stalking in the parking lot. That's what Brian says doing while he's closing his car doors, creating light activity, while he is creating audible activity, and doing so in sync with the demons that are LAPD flying over this property in that unnatural environment. And it's occurring in the workplace. So you're talking about prosecuting the third-party speaker companies, acting in conformity to the P.O.C. So let me also point out the additional aspect of what
mission against the whole population. The light source is directly over the windshield.
Not only is that the environment, there is the environment inside of my apartment, as I documented on June 9th, while Brian Sutt, a demon that's group stalking, terrorizing me, in sync with the state, engaging in the sex offense on behalf of the whole state. And this is the light activity inside of my apartment.
Very exclusive. And the environment is demonic. The environment is literally providing the evidence against the entity. And this is what the entity is going to be faced with in federal court. And I'm going to drain the pockets not only of speaker companies, not only is our Todd speaker and every group stalker employed by third-party speaker companies, they're going to federal prison. All right?
They're going to be I want you to see that light activity again. The demons are engaged in ongoing surveillance, know exactly what I'm saying, and the demons respond with impossible light activity. Reference the documentation yesterday when you see a panel of like a mirage of light appearing in my living room, the shadow of the trees that's at a distance, and the fake sun that's above my apartment door, the apartment building, but yet you're seeing light just appearing out of nowhere. That's a show of hostility by a bunch of demons who are witnessing my exposure. And it manifests itself through methods of impossible light activity, engineered light. This is relevant for what is not only criminal conduct in the manner that I've shown, you're a group stalker, and you're also engaged in ongoing surveillance in corporate invasion of privacy, which shall be prosecuted as a sex offense. All right, you should not know about the moments that I'm pulling my panties down and everything that I'm doing in the shower, All right. The entity, that's a sex offender. Okay. And doing so while also inside of a private space, which is occurring pursuant to what is also serving to monitor. And also remember, the demon possessed are group stalking in that environment. And they are doing so for the specific purpose to terrorize, to scare the crap out of you, in other words. All right. And all I'm going to do is document you. I'm going to expose you, and I'm going to prosecute you. So that flashing of light occurs with simultaneity to the punishment that speaker company's personnel are going to face.
The entity is going to be faced with in federal court, and I'm going to drain the pockets not only of speaker companies, not only is our Todd speaker and every group stalker employed by third-party speaker companies, they're going to federal prison. All right? They're going to be prosecuted for...
You're also understanding the same light activity that's occurring at Nightfall, where Universal Waste, another third party, not different from Brian's group stalking in relevant position to me in the parking lot, and engineered lights flashing across my bedroom walls, both while the fake sun is remaining, let's count 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 hours from now. And also at Nightfall, where there is no fake sun. And it has nothing to do with this engineered light that's on my ceiling, on my bedroom wall, and the flashing of light like there's some photo shoot. Okay, it's demonic and it's terrorism via directed light. It is the direct evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is prosecuted as state action because this is the venue where the entity is stalking helicopters, again pointing directly to the terrorist leader, Dominic Choi, who's going to answer for that. Okay, this is
let me be clear. This engineered light is a violation of your quiet enjoyment. The ongoing stalking by helicopters is a violation of your quiet enjoyment. The ongoing admission by that entity while you see flashing directed light, this is the ongoing admission by a demon possessed population who engages in more terrorism, more sexual violence, more stalking behavior.
Alrighty, and that is the P.O.C. It's currently 10:47 a.m. This is where the light source remains, and that's why I'm able to capture it after 6 p.m., which I did in that video. What I've shown for illustrative purposes and understanding and prosecuting, recognizing, legislating around what the government is doing and what Satan is doing also, it becomes legally relevant. And what we still have at this point in history is a constitutionally based government. And so you will enforce and legislate around the ways in which Satan assumed that they would be impervious to a federal prosecution, and that's a lie from hell. It's as fake as this light source that's remaining over me. Okay, so the entity is engaging in that in this documented act of impunity by Brian Sutt. Remember, it's illustrative of what all the people of the state are doing, and they do it with knowledge of the fact that they are being documented. And so since you have such a blatant disregard for the human rights and constitutional rights of another, and you're not even a natural born citizen, that's adding on a level of punishment. After you sit in federal prison, then you will be permanently removed from this country. And that is justice while you are engaging in what is terrorizing, devastating the lives of American citizens who cannot speak for themselves. I'm exposing what has been going on in this country for a long time. For a very long time. And that's why, by the way, the measure of justice that's occurring, it's a matter of reaping and sowing, because Satan has been having its way amongst the state of California for a very long time. And so it is my duty, it's actually my pleasure, to expose corruption. And that's not because I'm perfect. It's not because I'm without sin. The Lord is merciful, okay? And he's a good God, a loving God. And outside of what is repentance for what Brian Sutt and the rest of the people of the state are doing, there is no hope for them, not in federal court, and nor in eternity when you will stand before the ultimate judge. And you're going to answer for what you're doing. And so this is relevant for what is prosecution and for what is legislation, federal law that I have, again, at length, I have advocated regarding how it's necessary. It's not just the ability to think about and conjure up laws to ratify policy. And we don't have to talk about demons and ghouls and all that with regards to federal policy in order to handle this issue that is now fully exposed regarding what's going on in this country. However, it's necessary when you're dealing with darkness, spiritual darkness, you have to, under all circumstances, expose that darkness. That's a part of ridding and cleansing the population and the government. So that's what I'm speaking to. And that's the, again, another dual goal with regard to prosecuting for federal group stalking for public corruption. All right. And it's also, as a country, we are uniting and making a united message, making a statement to those abroad who are witnessing a breakdown of the so-called American government. There are so many obligations that we have as a country, and we have to communicate, even though it's happening here, this is not what we stand for, and that is communicated through a just prosecution. So I'm just stating this is obligatory. It's also with regard to the spiritual aspect that I'm exposing to you. You have to punish and expose Satan. That's the only way. You cannot keep it a secret. There will be no NDAs. I can't be bought, by the way. There's nothing that you could ever present to me that's going to silence me. I want every company known. I want every person. I want every aspect of the criminal system, which is exactly what the P.O.C. shows. You seek to terrorize and devastate an innocent American citizen who's sitting somewhere silenced, if not permanently because they've lost their lives or taken their own lives, or they're sitting around kidnapped somewhere. And so it does infuriate me when I think about how people suffer, and I know it because I'm subject to it. I can speak to it though, and I can tell you all the ways in which they're inflicting harms in the lives of people. The entire life, a comprehensive effort that is criminal and unconstitutional to devastate the existence, every aspect of your life. That's why these demons are hostile. So I'm in my bedroom praying to the Lord Jesus Christ. Why does that bother you? Why is that your business? All right. So like I said, there are many aspects to what needs to happen. It's currently 10:51 a.m. This is P.O.C.